Welcome back to Talking Story. My name is John Minton, and it's not exactly the time that we usually sit down together, go over our reading week, and kind of let go of the week past and get ourselves ready for the week coming up. We're a little bit late for that. We're already zooming headlong into the week coming at us. We are running late today, guys, and I do apologize for it. We had some technical difficulties that we just could not overcome any quicker, but we are getting our weekly reader out for you, and I have got some amazing, exciting, to me, unbelievable announcements, and I hope you feel the same way about them. So stay tuned for that. But first, let's go over what I have been reading for the past week. Just today, I finished the first read of December, A Fool's Hope. This is book 2 in the Last War trilogy by Mike Shackle, and wow. I gave book 1 a 5-star, ended up being a 5-star. I thought there was a little something that bothered me. The author reached out for me on Twitter and said, nah, yeah, you kind of missed that. And I did, and so I ended up giving it an amended 5-star. Really blew me away. I think this series absolutely, unless he just completely blows book 3 in the ending, it's gonna make my favorite series list. This is up there. And this book 2 is a huge step over book 1. The pace is breakneck. The characters are so engaging. It is that Asian-influenced military grimdark fantasy that you might absolutely be looking for. But when I say military, don't think that every character is a military character. There are just kind of what you would think of as everyday people trying to get along that get wrapped up in this invasion and then occupation and then resistance movement coming up to answer that occupation. And it's these just regular mother or someone that was in the military but didn't excel or thought of themselves as a coward, or somebody that maybe was just had a good family but was just kind of like, regular teenager hitting the streets at night and kind of living that kind of life. And now it has to step up in this moment of history at this bloody brutal time to be heroic, because heroes are needed so badly. So it's not only military figures that you're following, it's actually everyday people, and they are so engaging and you absolutely root for them. And that old writer's axiom of you have to kill your darlings, you have to create your children and love your children, your characters, but then you have to put them through the meat grinder. Does Mike Shackle have that ability down? Every time you get just a glimmer of, I think I can take a breath here. He's gonna nail him. He's gonna just bear down on those characters. It is absolutely delightful, and you cannot stop turning the pages. And all of this, book 1 and a large part of book 2, takes place in a course of 2 weeks after the initial invasion. That is the fulcrum in the history of this world that sets everything off going on this trilogy. And you can just tell the breakneck speed of the pace, because it all takes place in a couple weeks, until, I will say, you're thinking it's like, wow, this guys, where do we have that sense of time for an epic fantasy feel? And then, I'm not going to spoil it, but all I will say is, in book 2, you have one of the absolute coolest time cuts I can remember. It's just, I loved it. Absolutely loved it. I can promise you this book will be on my best of 23 list. I can promise you, like I say, unless he completely blows it with book 3, which I can't imagine he's going to, is going to make my favorite series list. So I cannot say enough about, if you like grimdark, if you like military fantasy, maybe don't even think military fantasy. If you just like kind of a grittier, darker a fantasy with engaging characters that runs at a breakneck pace this could absolutely be your series. I was absolutely just blown away by book 2. It took such a huge step for me from book 1. So what did I start after I finished that? We have already gone over my December TBR, and I kind of shuffled things up because I just couldn't wait any longer. I had to pick up 7 Shades of Evil by Robert McCammon. This is the penultimate version, the penultimate edition in the Matthew Corbett series. This is that book of short stories that checks in with Matthew Corbett all the way back to the beginning of the series. Well, not all the way back to Speaks Nightbird, but all the way back to like Queen of Bedlam time, 1702 or so. And it kind of checks in with these characters, kind of leading all the way up to where we are leaving off before we get into Leviathan, which is the final book in the series that should be out hopefully October of 2024. So McCammon is my man. I absolutely love the prose style. It's that neo-Dickensian style. It will absolutely transport you and give you a sense of time and place. In the first short story, New York, 1702, the characters are eccentric and so much fun, and I just absolutely love this series and love McCammon. And when I started thinking about, I got to put my best of 2023 together, I got to start thinking about what my top reads of the year were and top book. And I'm looking at this on my shelf thinking, there have been many a year when Robert McCammon was my favorite book of the year. I can't put this off anymore. I can't maybe not get it on that list. So I went ahead and picked up 7 Shades of Evil and have started it. I'm almost through the first short story, so I will probably blow through this in a matter of days. And after I wrap this up, probably what I will pick up right after that is Joe R. Lansdale, The Elephant of Surprise, which is the latest Hap and Leonard book, which I absolutely love Joe R. Lansdale, and I love Hap and Leonard series. And again, it quite possibly, I have stacked my December up just chock-a-block full of my faves, because if they're gonna make my fave list of the year, I gotta find out. So if I can wrap this up, I'm gonna grab that next, and then right after that, if I can keep blowing through books, because these are a little bit thinner, probably faster reads for me, I'm going to grab Ryan Sheffington's book, and it'll be my indie read for the month. So maybe coming up a week from today, I will have 3 books read for you before I get into the Christmas chunker, the more heavy-duty reads of The Last of the Warlord Chronicles, and then Words of Radiance, which I can't think of a better way to finish off the year. And apparently, Chapter 56 is going to blow my doors off. I was commenting back and forth with Gray Warden, I think, today, and he's like, I have to see you after you read Chapter 56. So I gave him my word. The second I finish Chapter 56, I am going to shoot a short, and I will post it for you guys, because apparently that is going to quite possibly change the way I look at the series. It's a Sanderlanche of epic proportions. I don't know what to expect, but I will do that short towards the end of the month when I hit Chapter 56. So that's where I'm at now. What did we do on the channel last week, guys? Looking back over it, wow, what a week it was. We got our December TBR out. I just kind of went over it again for you. I packed it full of everything that could possibly upset my favorites list for the year. I'm having such a great time. I mean, already the first book of that list has blown my hair back. I mean, this is going to upset my entire list, I think, this last month of the year. And I couldn't be more excited to get into it. We also started our whole new series of Talking Story with Tubers with Mike from Mike's Book Review. Was so gracious to be our first guest. And it's that situation when I started BookTube and I wanted to get some new authors and new ideas and see what I was missing. Mike's one of those first people that I started watching. And, from the very first time you watch him, you're like, oh, man, what a cool dude, man. I would love to hang out. I wish I lived closer or had friends like that I could talk books with and hang out with. That's just awesome. And then you actually do face to face get to talk with him. And God, man, we went for like 2 hours. I was watching the clock thinking, I asked him for an hour. It's getting long in the tooth. I mean, maybe I should cut the cord here and let the man go to bed. But he was like, no, let's keep talking. It's like it's every bit as great, and he is every bit as gracious and as fun a human as I had hoped he was. And it's just amazing when that happens, when you have that experience and you actually get to talk to somebody and they're everything that you had hoped they would be. But so far, that's been everyone on BookTube. And speaking of that, what do we have coming up in this week coming up? And why I think about what's coming up in this week, because of what I just said about speaking to people in BookTube, not just other booktubers with channels, but with the community and with the people out there that have been commenting to me. I have been, not only me, guys, I have been blown away, and my entire family has been blown away and touched by some things that we have received in the mailbox this week. So I am not going to be able to wait 1 second longer to do a book haul immediately coming up. That'll be the first video of our week, because I have to express my gratitude to some people that are just beyond thoughtful, generous of spirit, that have touched my entire family in ways. Some people that I comment with all the time, and as well as some indie authors that have sent me things with lovely notes. And I cannot wait to do a book haul to express what it meant to all of us here at Talking Story, and not just Jacob, that helps me in everything I do, but my wife as well. And just absolutely meant the world to us. So we're going to start the week off with that video of a book haul so I can express my gratitude. And we will be on Andrew's Wizardly Reads Tuesday night at 7 o'clock. He has invited me to be on his channel and hang out, and I cannot wait to talk to Andrew. He is another one of those people I know he's going to be as cool as I'm expecting him to be, and funny and charming and energetic, and I can't wait to just hang out with him. And I'm so thankful that he asked me to be on his channel. And he was the first person that threw my name out there, like, hey, I saw this channel, it's really pretty good. And I was walking on air for days after he did that. So what else is coming this week? This is one of the biggies, guys. What else is coming this week? I will have an interview with Christopher Rocchio this week, talking about Empire of Silence. And if you follow the channel, you know, after I read that book, I mean, during reading that book, I had to set it down and let the wheels spin, and grease those wheels up so they could spin a little bit better, to consider what this young man had done philosophically and structurally with that book. And I cannot wait to sit with him and go over his artist journey so young in life, what that was like, and what his themes and philosophy and what he was trying to do with his prose and get across to his readers. I can't wait to crack into all of it. And that will be coming this week as well. So if that is not exciting enough, I'm going to go ahead and throw out the rest of the people that we are going to be talking with here on Talking Story for the rest of the month. This month's, Mike was our first one for December. No, Mike was our first one for November. Our guest Talking Story with Tubers for December is going to be Josh from Red Fury Books, another Texan that I can't wait to talk to. He is one of my favorites. Every time I watch his videos, and I watch every video he puts out, it's like I'm checking in with a friend. So personable, so charming, so honest. So he's been on his own artistic journey with music, and he always brings that to everything he does. And I can't wait to sit with him and chat with him and actually be able to look at him face to face and talk, as opposed to just watching his videos. I'm so excited for that. And the last author's interview we have coming up for us in the month of December, before we all go celebrate the holidays, we will have on Talking Story the New York Times best-selling author, winner of 5 Bram Stoker Awards, Jonathan Marbury, will be joining us to talk about not only his new epic fantasy, sword and sorcery, classic fantasy feel, Kagan the Dam trilogy, but we're going to go over all of his career, everything, his journey through journalism and his research that echoes through all of his work. And I have been a Marbury fan for so long, and I can't wait to talk to him. And I can't wait for maybe some of you, if you haven't read him yet, to discover him, or if you have read him yet, to get a good dose of Marbury. He is such, I've seen him in other interviews, and he's on Facebook, just ask me anything. He's just hanging out with his readers all the time. He is such a cool dude. I can't wait, and I'm gonna bet all my money on red that he's got a Hawaiian shirt on when we talk to him. And he's just a really chill, cool dude who just is so prolific and puts out so much work that always entertains me. So I cannot wait to talk to Jonathan Marbury as well here on the channel, and that will be coming up before the end of December. And all these things, Christopher Rocchio this week, and Josh coming up, and Jonathan Marbury before the end of the month. We will be putting out reminders and early schedule things, so you can hit notify me and you can be there for absolutely all of it. But it's a very exciting time. I can't wait to talk to these folks, and they were so gracious to give up their time and absolutely blew me away. So again, this week coming up, I got book hauls to thank so many people. I got an interview with Christopher Rocchio, and I will be on Andrew's channel Tuesday night. I believe it's the 6th at 7 o'clock Eastern time. And again, we'll have reminders and everything out there for you. The rest of the week's guests we covered, and that's pretty much it for me. What's going on in the channel, guys? I got my little Post-it notes here that I think I covered everything. TV-wise, I'm all caught up on Monarch of Monsters. It's a lot of fun still. This last episode, they kind of changed their formula a little bit with the flashbacks, and if you're into the show, you'll know what I mean. Didn't quite hit home for me the way the other ones have. I am all caught up on For All Mankind. For my money, guys, that's the show that is like it's usually on Wednesdays. This week it was on Friday because of the holidays, I guess. I immediately catch, that's my appointment television. Like, I immediately catch that show as soon as I can sit down and catch it. I have seen the first 2 Doctor Who specials with David Tennant. Always fun to see David Tennant. Always fun to see David Tennant with Donna again. The first one kind of got me in the feels. The second one wasn't as strong for me, but I still had a great time because I just love the Doctor. I mean, I'm not into it as much as some of my other people that watch the channel and comment with me back and forth about the Doctor. I haven't done all the classical Doctor stuff, but it's like I got into it late, but I do absolutely love it. And it's been a good time. I've really enjoyed it. I think I have 2 episodes left of The Fall of House Usher. And again, I am really enjoying it. It's an absolutely different tone from Midnight Mass, which is my favorite Flanagan thing up to this point. But how he squeezes so many Poe stories in there. It's like that old circus act of he's spinning so many plates on sticks, and he keeps them all up there, and he fits it all in. And I really enjoy it. It's got its tongue firmly in its cheek. It doesn't take itself too seriously. Again, the tone is different from Midnight Mass. But I am absolutely digging it. And there are some performances in it. Wow, Bruce Greenwood is really doing some stuff, man, doing some work. It's really, really fun to watch. Henry Thomas, also really fun to watch. There's not really a bad performance in it, but those two for me are really just like really hitting it out of the park. So that's going to be it for me, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with us again. If this is your first time here and you kind of like what we do, right down there, there's that thumbs up button. There's that subscribe button. Go ahead and hit that. I'll wait. Go ahead. Hit it. It just feels right, doesn't it? It feels so good. I subscribed to some channels this week, and I haven't got over the feeling yet. It's just absolutely great feeling. So if you've come several times and you haven't subscribed yet, it helps us do everything here. It helps us build a channel, and it helps us grow, and it helps us kind of look the way we need to look to get some of these authors to come on and talk to us. So it's been absolutely amazing, and I thank you guys for following us on our journey here at Talking Story. Again, thank you so much. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. It means the world to me. I'm sorry the video was late coming this Sunday, guys. But if you kind of held out and waited for it and then watched it, or if you're catching it first thing on a Monday morning when you're usually used to catching us on Sunday, that probably means you're book people. And in my book, that means you're the best people. So for everything, guys, thank you so much. My name is John Minton, and this has been Talking Story.